Hit record. And I want to welcome you all here tonight. Unfortunately, Cim could not be with us live, but he did make a video just for our team for tonight. He made that today, and he gave it to me. So we're going to watch that in a second. It's a 22-minute video. So just a few announcements first. Hopefully you guys are keeping up with the posts that I make in the Engage group. I also send out an email, so anybody who's subscribed to our email list got it. This is the last call for the year 2015. I hope you guys all appreciated all of the calls that we've had this year. Pretty much, I guess we've had at least probably 30 team calls. We've had everyone from Melanie Mitro, the #1 coach in the network, to Jeff Hill, and many 5-star diamonds and other special guests. So we'll try to continue that next year going forward, starting after the new year. And hopefully if you guys still attend, because participation is key, because obviously it takes a lot of work to get the calls together, and we definitely want everybody on the call. So just plan on that every other Wednesday at 9, starting after the new year, and I'll create an event with our next speaker. So just stay tuned for that. Also, we're doing a 4-day sneak peek, so hopefully you all are part of that for Hammer and Chisel. We have several coaches that are involved in that preview, essentially, and we have about 350 people in the group. So we have an amazing turnout. That's thanks to you all, and thanks to you all for inviting people. Make sure that you're following up with your customers that are in the group, because I'm seeing like some customers that are posting and asking questions, and some of them are messaging me and they're not my customers, like, how do I order? So, definitely touch base with your customers that you've invited. Some of them were even confused, like, when are we going to get a preview of the workouts? And I had to explain, well, you're not going to get a real preview of the workouts. You're going to get, told about the workouts, and you're going to get told about our upcoming challenge, which starts on January 4th. So hopefully you guys are all in our actual challenge group, which is going to start on January 4th officially. We're going to have, a big pot of money, and we're going to give that money away to 3 different winners: the biggest weight loss, the most inches, and the best transformation. So, the more people, encourage your customers to participate in that. It's only $5. And the more people that take part in it, then the bigger the pot gets, and the more money that we can give away to somebody. And now the pot is available to coaches and customers, because I want to get all of our coaches involved too. So encourage your discount coaches, any of your team coaches. Let's get them involved. Let's get them starting off the new year right, with working out, with getting results, getting back in shape, getting back on the wagon, whatever their case is. And then the last announcement is our glimpse, which is our sneak. It's a mini sneak peek. It's a 1-hour live sneak peek, which is tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I've created a Facebook event for this live event. I posted it in the group, so you guys can all join. You can invite anybody who's interested in learning more about the coach opportunity, learning more about what we do as a team, what our team has to offer. So, please invite to that. We don't have very many going so far. I think there was like maybe 20. So let's, try to get those numbers up, get you guys some coaches before the end of the year, because January is going to take off like a rocket. And that's part of what we're going to learn tonight. We need to be ready for when that rocket ship takes off, because if you're not ready, you're just going to be watching the smoke trail as it goes off, and you're still stuck on the ground. So bring those coaches in. They can start bringing in their people, get your challenges lined up, your challengers lined up, and that type of thing. So if you have questions about that, you can post them in the group or message me. So just to recap on what we've done so far, this is what I've called our leadership conference. And as you know, it started out with primarily our emeralds and above, and then we opened it up to people that also achieved some Success Club points and joined the Cup team. And then we said, well, anybody who gets a Success Club point in November. So, encourage you guys to, achieve Success Club and show yourself as a leader, could participate. And then last week with Jeff Hill, I just said, let's open it up to everybody. And this week we're opening up to everyone as well. So what we've talked about so far is setting goals, getting coaches started right. That was week 2. Week 3, we talked about retaining and mentoring or motivating coaches. Week 3, we talked about team culture. And last week, we talked about how to build strong leaders. So if you missed any of those calls, they're all recorded. They're all on our YouTube channel. If you guys don't know what that is, I can give that to you and you can subscribe to it. But you can go back and watch any of those calls. Last week was particularly a good one because we had Jeff Hill, so hopefully you guys didn't miss that. But tonight, Cim Carver, who is a senior sales director with Beachbody, he's a great speaker, just like Jeff Hill is. He's going to talk about putting all these things that we've learned into action, okay? So, like I said, a few minutes ago, be a one-tabber, close down all your other tabs, open up your notebook, take notes, because he's a straight shooter, is what he says. He's not going to sugarcoat it for you. He's going to tell you what you need to do. He's going to tell you, what you don't need to do. And I didn't watch it all, but I watched part of it, and I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. So I encourage you guys just to, what you've learned throughout this course with leadership, start putting into action, because, real leaders don't just, put their people in our 21-day Kickstart training and, hope that they're going to become rock stars, right? I mean, obviously, we've put together lots of different training for the team, the Kickstart training, we have the free how to run free groups training, we have the self-paced Coach Basics training, we have team calls. This is all great. This is all general support, but you can't rely on that, and hope that your coaches are going to turn out to be rock stars. If you're not meeting with them weekly, if you're not creating a team culture yourself, if you're not talking to your coaches daily, if you're not checking in with them and being their accountability partner and their mentor, well, then you're not being a real leader. So I encourage you guys to, if you're there, then step up and take that challenge. Because if you look at any 5-star coach, they may be under Melanie Mitro, who has an awesome process and also awesome training in place, or any of the other top coaches. They have developed their own process, and they have taken the initiative, and kind of like the buck stops with them. They take responsibility for training their coaches, for making sure that they succeed, for putting plans in place, So, that's what I want to encourage. I mean, we have 50 diamonds on this team, and we have some really strong new leaders, and I want to encourage you guys to, take that step and start building your own teams and building your own culture. So that's what this training's been all about. And I'll just go ahead and start the video. And Brian, you just let me know if you can hear it. Hopefully it'll work this time.
Okay. Hey everybody at Engage Fitness, this is Cim Carver. I am excited to be with you here tonight and grateful for the opportunity to be a part of
Ashley said she can hear it. I couldn't hear it.
Could anyone else hear it? Okay, so Jill heard it.
Paul said no. Kelly says yes.
All right, let's try it again.
No.
Hey everybody, at Engage Fitness, this is Cim Carver. I am excited to be with you here tonight and grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this really cool training experience that you guys have put together. I hope that what I've got prepared for you will be beneficial to you, will be kind of a, if you will, a kind of a capstone or a thing that you guys can use to take all the stuff that you've been learning about and actually put it into practice. That's the hardest part. So I'm going to kind of take a more, how do I say it, a little bit more of a direct, focused approach with you guys. In my mind, what I see when I say that, when I say those words, is my dad. My dad was never one to mince words. He was always someone that when it got to the point where we felt like we had learned or we had talked, or we had discussed the concept, that he was very much then around the idea about execution and getting things done and making sure that we have the type of conversation, the type of approach in place to actually get results from the energies and from the investment of time and energy that we've made into being a part of this training, into doing the things that you guys have been doing. And so that's what my job is tonight. And I'm going to take a pretty direct approach with you on that. I'm going to challenge you a little bit. I hope that all of you will take it in the spirit that I'm intending it. Building a business is fun. Building a business that you own is even more fun. Building a business where you get to help other people, where you get to focus on making a lasting difference in people's lives, is almost unheard of. And that's what we get to do here. And I never want to take away the fun side of what we do. But just for a moment, as we talk tonight, I'm going to talk to you from a business owner mindset. I'm going to think about the time in my life when I was running my own business, when I was had to make these decisions, these types of decisions, when I was a business owner. And I'm going to talk to you from a business owner mindset to a business owner mindset. And I hope, my goal in this is that you will have some key takeaways, that you can take all of this training, all these things that you've invested in doing over these last couple of weeks, and actually then put them into practice so that you are better. Not just feeling better, not just feeling a little more motivated, not just having these good ideas floating around your head, but you are better in the results that you're getting, that you are better in the things that you are doing. And that's what my goal is. That's what I hope all of you now are holding yourselves to, that same standard. Because at the end of the day, one of the best things that leaders do is leaders get results. Leaders hold themselves to accountable to get results from their actions. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And I want you to just kind of think about them real quick as I get started here. First of all, are you willing now to do the work that is required to be successful? It's one thing to know it. It's one thing to hear about it. It's one thing to have someone else actually talk to you about it. It's one thing to learn it. It's a whole thing, completely different thing, if you will, to actually have to go do it. So are you ready to do the work required to be successful? Until you can answer that question with a resounding and affirmative yes, then you're going to be stuck. You're not going to be able to progress the way you want to progress. Second question, related to the first, but I separate them for a reason. Are you ready to have the discipline to be successful? All of you on this call have some level of discipline. All of you part of this video have had a level of discipline that has brought you to this level of success or where you're at right now. And the truth is that that's good. That's fantastic. And you're going to need that. But there are going to be areas of your life, there are going to be things that you're going to have to do that are going to require a little bit more discipline, that are going to require you to be just a little bit better, a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more conscious of your time, a little bit more purposeful in your actions. That kind of discipline is going to require you to grow and to make some changes. And so in addition to just the work, the discipline and the expectation in your mind of am I ready then to make whatever sacrifices are required of me, not just from the work standpoint, but from the discipline standpoint, to be successful. Third question. Are you really ready then to experience the success that you're going after? And what I mean by experience that is I explicitly, as you go through and are making progress on the goals and the different things that you're doing, it's going to be this. You're going to grow, you're going to succeed as you're working on things, and you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to do things good, you're going to do things wrong. It's a little bit of a roller coaster. It's ups and downs. And are you ready to experience that success? Because success is rarely like this. In fact, anyone who tells you it's like this, just consistent growth, is lying to you. It's usually like this, ups and downs. And you have to be the one that's steady. You have to be the one that's consistent, and understand that these are all experiences that are part of being successful. And be ready for those. And so when things go south a little bit, we're not complaining. Just like when things are going up, we're not complaining. It's all part of the same equation. It's all part of the same pie. So what I'm going to share with you now as I've been thinking about your team, as I've been talking to Craig a little bit, learning about what you guys are at, kind of where things are going, I'm going to share with you 3 things that I've seen, that I've used before in putting pieces together, putting things into action, putting something into action, because right now, that's where we're at. We're coming to the end of the year, 2016. We're staring a brand new year right in the face. How we end this year, guys, is really going to impact our mental mindset and how we go into next year, if we're limping or if we feel like we push through. And so I want to talk now about, since we're at this time when we're putting a lot of things into action, I'm going to give you 3 ideas that will hopefully help you be more effective at putting things into action. And not just from a theoretical standpoint. I'm going to try to give you specific actions, items, things to do as I possibly can. But understand, it would be impossible for me to give you exact specifics for your specific business, because you're the business owner of your business. You know better than me. So I'm going to hopefully give you, while I'm giving you specifics, the most important thing will be the ideas that come into your own mind about how you can apply this to your business. So let me jump right into it. First thing, nothing happens in life or in business until a decision is made. So if you're on the fence, if you haven't fully decided on something, you need to make a decision. You cannot keep putting this off. Sometimes in human nature, whenever we feel like something might be at risk or something might require something of us, it's in our nature to hedge. It's our nature to kind of put in a toe, maybe a whole foot, but keep the other foot out. And it's confusing because we want to be smart, right? But we have to be committed. And so that's what I'm talking about. When we talk about making a decision, nothing happens until a decision is made. And the reason for that is because it's a commitment that we've got to make to ourselves. Before you can think about your goals for next year, what you want to do, you've got to decide that you are going to go after those goals. If your goals right now are just, oh, those will be some nice things. That would be so cool if I could get to that. Man, that would be amazing if I could do that. That's not commitment. That's not commitment. You have to make a decision. So are you deciding on your goals? Have you made a decision that you're going to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself? And if you are, then you're ready to make a commitment. And when you make a commitment, what I'm going to ask you to do is that you do it privately, obviously to yourself first, but then you do it publicly. That you talk to Greg, you talk to your success partner, you on Facebook, but you publicly commit to your goals. And there's something, and the reason for this is, in my experience, there's something that changes when you make a public commitment to a goal. Okay, it does something to you. And so publicly commit to that goal. When you make a decision, when you commit, it is going to scare you probably. It should excite you. It should scare you. Because at that point, once you publicly committed, that's when the potential of failure comes into play, or not being perfect. That's when those emotions are going to be there. That's okay. Embrace the excitement, embrace the fear. Remember the roller coaster, but make a decision, make it public, and get committed after that. The second point. Okay, so that first one's really easy, right? The second one, this next 2 are a little bit more work, is I want you to mentally see it, okay? I'm going to use that word instead of the word vision, because I think vision sometimes gets too soft. I want you to literally mentally see your goal, see the thing that you're going after. I want you to think what it would sound like, what it would feel like, what it would look like. Maybe not taste, that would be kind of weird, but all those other senses. I want you to just sit down for a minute and just start to capture that in your mind. Go through all those senses. And the reason is because when you do that, it becomes clearer in your mind. It becomes more part of what you're doing. Your commitment will crystallize around those ideas. And seeing it in your mind really is the first step to actually making it happen in real life, to actually making it a reality. You have to see it there. Remember, you're creating something that right now that doesn't exist. The goal that you've got in place doesn't exist right now. You're the one that has to create it. And so that first step in creation is to visualize it in your mind. Create vision boards. If you guys do vision boards, do some kind of visual reminder, something that you can remind yourself and see it regularly. And the reason why we start with this idea of I've got to see it first, I've got to mentally see it. The reason why we start with that is because it elevates your belief. So just like the first step elevates our commitment, the second step elevates our belief. And again, you're building something that doesn't exist. You're going to do something that you've never done before. And so that's going to be taxing on your belief. That's going to challenge your belief in yourself. It's going to push you if you're doing it right. If it's not pushing you and if it doesn't challenge that, chances are you may not pushing yourself hard enough. And what we want to do is, as you're going through this, there are going to be moments where the pull towards mediocrity are going to be very strong. The comfort level, the path well traveled is going to be the siren song is going to be very strong. And that belief in yourself has got to be strong enough to match that conviction that you have so that you can continue to soldier on, okay? It allows us, as we soldier on, to remind ourselves, okay, that the end result will be worth the work it takes to get there. And that while we may not be perfect, while we may not be, have everything figured out, our belief in ourselves, that if we remain with a strong conviction and remain consistent in what we're doing, that we will be able to get to the direction that we're trying to go. And so, again, conviction and then belief. Again, those first two, again, key takeaways, you guys, publicly commit to it. The second thing, do something that really helps crystallize that belief. The first thing is in your mind. See it. What does it still look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? Get that crystal clear in your mind because it forces you to really get specific on what that's going to be like for you. And then do something visual. A vision board. As cheesy as I know that sounds to some of you guys, it really works. I mean, create a vision board. Don't tell anyone you do it and put it somewhere where only you and people that trust you, will see it. But put it somewhere where you can see it. Or if you're someone like me, I like to, I use dry erase markers. I was going to find one. And I like to write messages to myself in the mirrors of my house and in my car that help me remember the things that I'm trying to do. Create a place to make that visual. That's why, the reason why we do that again is to elevate belief. Now that takes us to the third one. And this is where a lot of the work is now. And this is the part, honestly, where discipline's going to come into play. And this is the game plan, okay? And when I say game plan, what I mean by that is real simple. Goals with actions, okay? Goals with actions, that's a game plan. If you think about a sports team, right, and where they're trying to go, a game plan for a sports team is just goals with actions. We want to score a touchdown. Here are the actions we're going to do to get that touchdown. Here are the plays. Here's the roles that everybody has. Here's what we're going to be doing to achieve the goal that we've got. You've got to have a game plan. You can't just expect to just be good. Oh, I'm a natural at this. I'll figure this out. I've been doing this for a long time. Because remember, you're doing something new. You're challenging yourself. You're pushing yourself. So you've got to have a game plan. Let me talk about goals first. First thing I'm going to encourage all of you to do is to make sure that you've got at least one or two long-term goals. What I mean by long-term is just for the next year. 2016, what does that long-term goal look like? That long-term goal becomes kind of your North Star. It becomes kind of the direction that you're pointing. It should be tied to your why or your purpose, right? Why you're a coach. It should have meaning to you on such a level that it makes it really, really important to you, okay? That long-term goal is going to be something that's going to be very important, especially in the close of this year and the beginning of next year when you're just trying to get your feet underneath you. That long-term goal is going to be very, very important for you to have in place. Backing it off now, taking one step back then, okay, if we have a long-term goal, again, our goal now is to get really specific with this. We want to have now quarterly milestones. And I don't really say quarterly goals because I want quarterly milestones to just be once a quarter. I just want to have check-ins. I want to have checkpoints along my way to my long-term goal that will just kind of allow me to see how I'm pacing. Allow me to see how I'm going. And so whatever my long-term goal is, what are some of the metrics? What are some of the things that I need to be pacing at to get that goal? Okay, let me know what those are. Now, because after that, okay, the more specific you can be, the better. After that, now we can go down to our monthly goals. And I know this sounds like a lot of work, you guys, but I promise you, people that I've worked with, myself, when I do this, it's not that much work. And it is it can challenge people. If you're used to thinking in generalities, if you're used to being kind of just running by the seat of your pants, this will feel a little bit challenging at first. But I promise you that if you do this, again, this goes back to discipline. If you will do this, you will be more effective at reaching your goals. I promise you, you will be. And so it might feel a little awkward at first. Long-term goals, okay, quarterly milestones, blah, blah, blah. It just seems like words, right? It seems like that we're something that we're doing. But I promise you, the discipline in doing this will make you better. That leads us then now, the quarterly ones take us now to our monthly goals. Now, our monthly goals need to be ultra specific. We need to know exactly what they need to be. And it might be something where right now we just set monthly goals for the first quarter, maybe the first 2 quarters. All right, because we want to have some flexibility as how things go, that we can kind of update those for the second quarter. I think that's fine, right? Because our quarterly goal, our monthly goals become our most relevant goals. Your quarterly goals are your most important goals, because those are the goals where you can clearly tie my actions of today to the results that I'm trying to get. My actions of today to where I'm trying to go. And so it's really easy to help make sure your actions have purpose and have meaning. Okay, and I'll talk about actions in just a minute. But when you think about your quarterly goals, some things that I want you to keep in mind are, first, what are the big levers that I've got available to me in those quarters to help me drive growth or help me drive progress towards my goals? For example, what in your plan in the month of January takes into account the ability to leverage the intense focus that we're going to have on Hammer and Chisel? We're going to have this massive challenge group. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of people in this challenge group. The company's going to be talking about it. We're going to be promoting it. We're going to be pushing it. All these things are going to be coming to play. Are you going to be ready to take advantage of that? Do you have a plan in place to have a challenge group ready? Do you have a plan in place to tie a coach sneak peek to that? Do you have a plan in place right now to kind of just do a simple marketing plan around what that looks like to make sure that you're leveraging that? Then in the month of February, we have Team Cup. How are you going to be leveraging Team Cup in the month of February? What are you going to be doing? You'll just come off a big launch with Hammer and Chisel. You're probably going to have a lot of new coaches. How are you going to be organizing them? How do you want to approach that? It might seem premature to be thinking about February right now, but I don't think it is. Think about right now, how am I going to be leveraging then Team Cup? And then March comes, and you're going to have all these new coaches that just came in from Team Cup. What are you going to do with those coaches? How are you going to get them engaged? What are you going to be doing to help them get started right, getting started quickly? Do you have the systems in place to be able to make that happen? That's what I mean. When you look at those growth levers, what are my growth levers and how am I leveraging them? And make sure you have a plan to leverage those growth levers in your actions that you've outlined for yourself, okay? The second thing about monthly goals that I'm going to encourage you to do is you have to, in my opinion, make sure that they're measurable. One of the things that I struggle sometimes with when I'm working with coaches is sometimes we don't want to measure goals that are more measurable. Seem to imply greater risk of failure, greater risk of not reaching them, greater risk of being held accountable to something. And so sometimes we shy away from measurability. I would encourage you to make sure that your monthly goals are extremely measurable. Okay, hold yourself accountable to the number of new coach enrollments that you want to have in, the number of coaches in Success Club that you want to have, how many Success Club points that you want to have. Be really specific. It doesn't mean you have to be overly creative. You guys don't reinvent the wheel. You guys know the things that drive success. Success Club. You being in Success Club, helping PS coaches hit Success Club, and then finding customers and coaches. Those are the key metrics. Driving around those metrics, guys, really is about as simple as it gets, but be specific, make it measurable to make it meaningful. Now, that's our goals. As we're looking at those goals, as we're shaping up our goals, looking at the growth levers, making sure they're specific, now we get down to the actions. Okay, guys, this right here, this is where I'm going to lose a lot of you. And I recognize that I'm going to lose a lot of you in this point, because I'm going to ask you guys, challenge you guys to have the discipline to know what your daily activity should be. Things like expanding and connecting with contacts in a meaningful way on social media or in person or however you do it. Things like inviting to challenge groups and inviting people to check out the coaching opportunity. Things like driving activity and engagement with these challengers and coaches. How am I doing that? Following up on social media. All the daily activities that chances are you're probably doing right now. But right now, for a lot of you, you're just kind of doing them kind of haphazard. You're kind of just getting to them. There's no real purpose behind what you're doing. What I'm going to challenge you to do a little bit is Sorry, let me just close this out real quick. What I'm going to challenge you to do real quick is to create greater discipline in this, to list out what those daily actions need to be. Write them down, okay? The discipline to write that down, to be that concrete and that clear in the actions that you need to take will be very, very important for you. Let me tell you from this standpoint at least, okay? It might be it might be things like it'll just help you make sure you don't miss things. It might be things that just help you be more consistent. It might help in various ways like that. But I can promise you that at the very least, what it will do is it will help you increase your discipline. It will help you think differently about your business from a discipline standpoint. And the biggest enemy to your growth in 2016, you guys, it's funny, it's not going to be shipping issues. It's not going to be some of these other things that sometimes we kind of get frustrated with, understandably, right? It's not going to be threats from competition. The biggest enemy to your specific business this next year, in my opinion, knowing where Beachbody's at, what we're doing this year, where things are going to be going, is going to be unaligned habits that you currently have right now that are pushing you away from your goals instead of towards your goals, and you might not quite realize it yet. So unaligned habits and it's insufficient self-discipline. Again, the fact that you're losing this amount of discipline that's got you to here, which is great, but to get here, we've got to boost that self-discipline as well, okay? Those will be the two biggest things that will keep you from getting what you want this year. And so you've got to look for opportunities to instill that into your business. Look for opportunities to put that into your business. And being disciplined, being purposeful behind our daily actions helps us not only lose the purpose in our actions every day when we feel like, man, I don't know if I can follow up with one more person, or it feels like I do this all the time. It'll remind you what those purposes are. But the most important thing, in my opinion, for leaders at your stage and knowing where we're at this year is going to be the discipline that it will create for you in your mindset and in your thinking. Okay, so to that end, one of the things I'm going to suggest, in addition to actually explicitly writing out and talking through what your daily action items are, so you know what those priorities look like, it's also going to be to get a success partner. If you don't have a success partner right now, I would encourage you to get a success partner, someone that you can work with and share best practices with, get support with, and someone that can hold you accountable to doing those daily actions. That discipline, that increase in discipline will align your habits. Those habits that may be working against you will help bring those into alignment to the direction that you're trying to go. And I promise you, those things are incredibly powerful for your business. So you guys, I hope this is helpful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. Please do me a favor. If you have any questions or things, reach out to me on Facebook. It's not hard to find me. I'm the only guy in the world except for one guy in Korea with the name Cim. And so reach out to me on Facebook. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have, support you in any way. Just appreciate all you guys are doing. Congratulations on all that you're doing right now, for being a part of this training. I think it's fantastic. It's awesome. And I'm sure that with that kind of an approach that you guys are taking right now, that 2016 is going to be a phenomenal year for you guys. And hopefully some of the things I've said tonight will be helpful in helping you get there, because everybody wins when we all work together in this. So appreciate all you guys do. Thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
Stop share. Okay, what do you guys think? 2 thumbs up from Lexi. Anyone else?
That was a great call. I got a couple of notes. I have to readjust my plan, but it was a good call. Really good call.
So who's going to put together their quarterly milestones, their monthly goals, their daily activities? Stephanie, good job.
I'll be working on that most likely this week.
Yeah. I mean, it's all pretty basic stuff, right? Pretty bread and butter stuff, but it's something that I know that even I, lack the discipline to do. It's like I have my goals, I know what they are, but, actually writing them down, planning them out monthly, that's not something that even I do. So it's something that I need to work on. So I'm sure you guys need to work on that too. So, does anybody have any questions? If you have any questions for Kim, you can always, put them in our event and I can pass them on to him, or any comments, I can always pass those on as well. Was there something in the chat? I see 19 messages.
Jill, about your daily habits. I mean, that's where the secret of your success is in those daily things that you do every single day. Those little things that you do every single day, and sometimes they might seem insignificant or maybe they're not paying off yet. Doesn't matter. Those little things that you do consistently every single day will have that payoff. That's where the secret to your success is.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, this year I've become a Success Club 10 All-Star, right? That was one of my goals, right? That's my monthly goal that I have is Success Club 10. And I'm 45 months in Success Club 5. So I know that, and I can tell you that, the secret to my success is running challenge groups, running free groups every single month, inviting people, every single month, as many people as I can, running ads or, getting referrals, having a plan in place and doing it consistently. Because I can tell you that if I took a month off or 2 months off, I would not be hitting Success Club like two or 3 months down the road. Because what you're doing today is going to pay off in the next month or the month after that.
Or even longer.
Right. So it's just being consistent, and I can promise you, if you do take a month off, if you do take 6 months off, you're going to see those effects down the road, and you can get it back, but it's like Darren Hardy says, it's getting that momentum going again, getting that train going again is going to take you a lot of effort, but then to keep it going month after month is not as much effort. So I encourage you guys to stay consistent, and, plan your goals and just keep working towards it. And let's have a great 2016.
John, thank you much.
All right. I will see you guys later then.
All right, guys. So wish everyone a happy holidays too. Won't see you on a call until 2016.
Right. We'll talk.